What up? It's Christian. If you're addicted to video games, you know you escape into video games and have an unhealthy relationship with gaming, your prayers have been answered. This is my magnum opus, my life's work, everything that I've learned up until now on how to overcome your video game addiction and level up your real life across all areas, your health, your wealth, your relationships, and live the most extraordinary life possible using my main character men method, which is something that I had to create for myself because I was addicted to video games on and off for 15 years. And even when I reached a place that you might call real life success, where I thought the problem would solve itself of its own accord and all this would go away, I still couldn't figure it out. And so I had to figure it out for myself, and now I share it with you guys. So my name's Christian. 3 years ago, I was addicted to video games, even after achieving everything that I thought would put this to bed for good. I was living in DC. I got a six-figure tech job as a 22-year-old. I was making a ton of money, had a buzzing social life, and I thought that this was paradise. This was where the grass was greener, where all this stuff was supposed to go away, and I would never have this problem again. And that turned out to not be the case. So one day I wake up, almost 25, absolutely emaciated, and look in the mirror and realize if this goes on for any longer, if this goes on for a year longer, 5 years longer, 10 years longer, I'm going to be the same exact person that I have been these last few years doing nothing but collecting a check and gaming. My life will not have changed, significantly beyond anything on the surface. Yeah, I might, have some more money in my bank account. I might be comfortable and cozy, but I won't actually be living my life. I'll just be existing in real life and then living to game as the thing that I'm looking forward to doing the most that actually gives my life meaning and purpose and excitement at the end of the day. And that's not a way to live. That absolutely terrified me. And especially the prospect of getting to the end of my life and realizing that I had pissed it all away and squandered it instead of actually full sending it and embracing it. So I was like, no. It's not going to happen. We're solving this once and for all. And so I set about figuring out what it was with the mainstream, typically touted approaches to video game addiction that wasn't working for me. Just uninstalling all of my games, getting another hobby, finding other things to do in real life, and why that never cut it. And what dawned on me was that these approaches, the reason why they don't work is because, number one, they don't address the root causes behind video game addiction. They don't actually take a deeper look at what's pulling you into the game, what the game is giving you that you're not getting in your real life. Because if you got all of those things in your real life, if real life was more fun and exciting and fulfilling and rewarding than any game that you could possibly play, you would never play video games in the first place. You would just play real life. On top of that, the biggest thing that these games miss is that they throw the baby out with the bathwater by telling you to sweep gaming under the rug instead of recognizing that your experiences gaming are the golden blueprint, the treasure trove of wisdom and knowledge about yourself, of what you're capable of experiencing and performing at under certain circumstances in your life when the stars align in a video game environment, right? I already knew how to play World of Warcraft for 16 hours a day for months, years on end potentially, and have the time of my life, have an absolute blast every day, never struggle with motivation, discipline, procrastination, self-doubt, anything and everything that held me back in real life melted away when I played video games. So if I could just understand how to play my real life like a video game, like World of Warcraft, I could crush it. I could experience more success in every area of my life, my health, my wealth, my relationships, my long-term goals, and I could have as much fun, if not more, than I was while gaming, because now I'd be getting all the things that I was previously only getting in games, but I was doing it in a constructive way that didn't cost me anything in my real life, that didn't come at the expense of my real life. So I'm getting the best of both worlds. Now, this isn't just an idea. This is not something that I only figured out for myself. It's something that I've helped multiple other guys successfully implement for themselves in their real lives, okay? My client, Jason, was a 40-year-old dad and husband who literally saved his job during our work together. We were working together. Initially, he didn't even want to quit gaming. He didn't think it was a problem, right? And we'll talk about whether or not you have to quit gaming or whether or not you can actually have a healthy relationship with it later in this video, right? But he didn't think he had a problem when he came to me. He was just like, yo, you're a gamer. I'm a gamer. I'm really struggling at work. I just made this huge career transition and picked up this super intense sales job at 40 years old. Super ballsy move, right? Actually trying to live with purpose. And he was feeling absolutely crushed and overwhelmed under the weight of it all. He wasn't as present in his home life. He wasn't showing up as well for his family. He was becoming a shell of who he was and increasingly playing more video games just to cope, just to get by, just to do the bare minimum. And so, as he says, everything was mixed in together like a guilt ball. I didn't think I had a problem with video games, but I honestly did. I really was using that as a crutch and or an escape from a lot of things. That mental itch was getting too big. So we dove deeper, we uncovered, and I revealed to him all of the root causes driving him into video game addiction. It became clear as day that video games were becoming the one thing that kind of gave his life purpose and meaning. And we showed him in the course of under 12 weeks how to step back into the driver's seat of his own life and not only create a healthy relationship with gaming, but to approach his real life the same way he did his favorite video games and find everything that he was looking for in video games in his real life, play it just as lovingly obsessed, or play it with the same loving obsession, which is the phrase that I used to describe video game addiction, right? Play it the same way. So a month into us working together, he gets the ultimatum from his job. yo, if you don't hit your numbers, you're out. He's going to fail this career transition in front of his entire family, embarrass himself, lose respect and trust for himself, and be back to the drawing board. And we didn't let that happen. 2 months in, he hits all of his numbers, and a year and a half later, he has consistently hit all of his numbers every single quarter. He's his most confident self, and he's actually loving life instead of having to just get by, right? I was really stuck in my old ways. Now I'm just a much better person because of it. Our work together was a huge part of that. Mentally on our side, I don't think I would have got through that without our work, and I know going forward, I can keep doing it. My confidence is at an all-time high as far as my career and personally, and the things that I can say that I've accomplished are great. I just have a much better handle on home life. I'm continuing to get better, and I know what that looks like, and I know what the work that takes, and I'm not afraid of it. It just made everything that much better. I was really in a rut. I was really grinding video games hard, and now I grind my practice. I grind with my family, and rerouting that energy and those resources to something that's tangible is amazing. Okay, Lewis, my other client, lifelong self-proclaimed, self-described video game addict at 30 years old. And we go way back. He showed me World of Warcraft back in the day, right? So it was cool. This is like a, coming full circle moment for us. Now, he also had a really intense sales job. He was being absolutely crushed under the pressure of that as well. He had pressure from his wife who wanted to have a baby, but he really wasn't in a position financially or in terms of his confidence and the grip that he felt like he had over his life to support that. And so he was kind of drowning under the weight of it all. He felt bullied at work, super self-conscious, had all these limiting beliefs. And so instead of going hard in his real life and finding that fulfillment and that competitive excitement in his sales job, he was finding it increasingly in video games. He was living the same double life that Jason was kind of living and taking, more pride and finding more joy in his online persona and in his online accomplishments than he was in his real life accomplishments, and instead just kind of living life on the back foot, right? So we dove deep here as well. We uncovered each of these kind of subconscious identity level limitations, the unfelt emotions, the things, the patterns that were continuing to play out in his life that he didn't even realize existed. So again, the big problem with video game addiction is that the common traditional approaches to video game addiction only act on a surface level, right? Uninstall all of your games, never think about gaming again, get a different hobby. But at the end of the day, you're still the same person struggling with the same things, most of which you're not even aware of. And so you can't address those root causes. And so even if you do quit gaming, they will inevitably drive you into another form of escape or continue to wreak havoc in your life and make you miserable, right? So now Lewis is at a point where not only does he naturally does not have the urge to play video games. It's not even an appealing option when he thinks about it. It's not even tempting. So he has nothing to battle against or fight against in terms of temptations, but he feels the same video game addiction, loving obsession in his real life. And he's got a baby due next February. So clearly this worked out for him, right? And he leveled up his income as well. All around, feels more confident, understands his place in life, feels like he's accomplishing his goals and making progress on them and finding the excitement and the fulfillment in that he previously only could have gotten in video games. Now, I'm going to use a pseudonym and keep this person anonymous. This is kind of a sensitive story. But C tapered off his ADHD meds and antidepressants and regained his love for life after his family tried every mental health resource and professional available. They fired literally every shot that they could. And they did not have the means to try everything in the book, right? They're a very blessed family. And they tried absolutely everything they could, and it only made things worse from a traditional mental health resource standpoint. Okay, so this is a letter that his mother wrote to me. This was a young man of about 13 years old when we worked together. And she said that he was drifting into a very dark place. Therapy and meds just weren't helping him. In fact, traditional therapy and meds were making him worse. Christian focused on empowering our son instead of enabling him. It was not an easy road, but after 3 months of Christian working with our family, our son was off all medications. He supported our family on a much deeper level that no mental health professional was able to do. We thank God for Christian coming into our lives. He helped our son move away from a very dark path and take control over himself. We believe he saved our son's life. Now, I'm not including this just to toot my own horn, right? But this is a very illustrative testimonial, even if it's for a younger dude, and you're not a younger dude, right? For two reasons. The first is that it highlights the inefficacy of most, traditional forms of talk therapy when it comes to video game addiction. They're simply not geared for this. Why? Well, they focus largely on labeling you and disempowering you and telling you, oh, you have this, you have that. This is something that's wrong with you. It's inherent to you. And the only solution is to cope with it and talk about it and not actually transmute it into anything that can actually serve you, right? They don't understand that video game addiction is a superpower. It's not something that is wrong with you. It's not some defect. It's a feature, not a bug. You just need to understand how to wield it the right way. If your class type in the game of life is an obsessive, do or die, all or nothing type person, well, that's a blessing and a curse. But you don't, try to stifle that within yourself or deny it within yourself, because that only ever ends in disaster. You instead learn how to cater your environment and your lifestyle to your strengths and your natural talents and lean into them. Those are your gifts from God. And if you use them the right way, that's when life, the doors on life truly blow open for you. Okay. And so traditional talk therapy, right, can be effective in some instances, but largely involves you just paying per session on an hourly rate, in which there's no incentive for them to actually solve your problem on a long-term basis beyond just having you regurgitate and revive all these issues over and over and over again and just talk about them in a circular way forever, right? The second thing is, this traditional type of talk therapy might strive to address the deeper, root emotional causes behind your video game addiction, but largely does not give you any actionable way of taking those insights and those revelations and doing something with them in your life in order to see tangible results in your career, in your relationships, etc. So this is really, 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 really important to understand, because it's about it. This is like partly why the things that I would try on my journey towards overcoming my own video game addiction did not work, right? And the last thing that I want you to do is fall into this similar hamster wheel, instead of understanding that you can use what God gave you in a way that serves you, instead of thinking that it's broken and labeling it, that it makes you broken and labeling yourself and you just using it to disempower yourself and falling for that illusion, okay? Because it's one that a lot of dudes never make it out of. Now, who is this for? This is for someone who knows that they have an unhealthy relationship with gaming. That if you know that gaming is holding you back from living your best life in any area of your life, in terms of your long-term vision, the dream life, the life that you would love to be living someday, then book a call. This is for you. If you're someone who has tried, you've failed to quit video games before, you've relapsed countless times, but you can't seem to stay off gaming for good, let alone, even if you do manage to stay off for a while, you can't find the same lasting fulfillment or progress or purpose in your real life that you could only find with gaming, this is also for you. If you're someone who doesn't game anymore at all, maybe you finally, managed to quit years ago, but you've never quite gotten your life to the same point like we're talking about. Maybe you fall into other forms of addiction or escapism, whether it's doom scrolling, porn, watching TV. You just still feel like you're sulking through life and kind of living in autopilot, or at the very least not pushing it and sending it fully the way that you would when you played video games. And you still maybe think about gaming sometimes and think that nothing will ever compare. And that's simply not the case, right? You just need the right instruction. So if you've caused damage in your real life as a consequence of your gaming habit, right? If your relationship is on the rocks, if God forbid you've undergone a divorce and all these, maybe lost a job, missed opportunities, you have a lot of regret and shame and guilt eating you up, and you're still struggling to truly recover from this, or you've never truly recovered and you're not sure where to start, where to get back to a place where you feel like yourself again, you feel like you're back in the driver's seat of your own life and you have agency and power and you're making progress that you can be proud of, right? Let alone if we set aside the idea of getting back to normal, actually going beyond that and getting positive momentum in your life again, right? Then if you're that type of person, this is for you. And all in all, if you are excited by the idea of playing real life like a video game, whatever that means to you, whatever the game of life means to you in terms of what's most meaningful and exciting, the things that you want to get done within this lifetime, if you're excited about the idea of playing it like that in the same lovingly obsessed way that you only know how to play video games, right? Then this is for you. This is not just about quitting video games and getting a bunch of hobbies and fly fishing and hanging out and running down the clock on your life. This is about getting the most out of your life, squeezing every ounce of miraculous, wonderful juice out of it that you possibly can on the back of your video game addiction. So, who is this not for? This is not for someone who games but has zero complaints about their real life, who is 100% cool with where they're at in life and where their life is headed, the current trajectory of their life. If you're complacent, if you're apathetic, you have no interest or excitement or ambition to live a better life, or at the very least, you cannot see that you have an unhealthy relationship with gaming. You don't think that it's costing you anything. You don't see not only like the damage that it's causing, but the upside that you're missing. If you were to actually be able to, reel in this habit and take the same time and energy and obsession and channel it elsewhere in your life, if you can't recognize all the things that would unlock for you in a positive way, not just the damage that it would save you from, then this is not for you. And if you're unwilling to commit and take responsibility for your life and act on it, then this is certainly not for you, okay? Now, even if you intend to come into this program, still saving a place for video games in your life in some, more healthy way, there's a mandatory 90-day period where you're not going to play any video games at all. If that alarms you, then number one, it's probably not for you. You can just keep scrolling. But number two, think about what that says, right? If you can't go even 90 days of your entire life without playing video games, if that idea makes you squirm a bit and scares you, then that's saying something. That might be indicative of you having a problem that is kind of undeniable at this point if you're truly being honest with yourself, right? In this program, you will be challenged to grow. This is not us just talking about cool ideas and you leaving every chat like, oh, that's cool, and then doing nothing with it. It's not a course. I'm not going to send you a laundry list of videos to just mindlessly watch and then tell you to text me once a week so we can talk about them for an hour. This is an everyday, intensive, 90-day like transformational program where I'm literally like a game master standing over your shoulder, the closest thing I can get from flying over to where you are and living coaching you and guiding you every step of the way on how to implement the things that we talk about to see real tangible progress in your life. And it's bigger than just video games. It's bigger than just quitting video games and then living life as normal or just moping about, right? It's about taking the sauce that you've unlocked in video games and applying it to your real life to live it in the most exceptional, beautiful, incredible way possible. Now, if you choose to work with me, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to help you solve the root causes of your video game addiction that you've never even been aware of, that have always held you back. Again, traditional approaches to video game addiction only working at a symptom level, at a superficial level. This is where we actually uncover the stuff that you're not getting in video games, that you're not getting in real life, that you're only getting in video games, as well as the things about your real life that are too difficult to bear, or the same patterns and blocks that drive you into video games, all of which you're probably not aware of, and therefore you can't solve them, right? I'm going to teach you exactly how to never relapse again and forever avoid falling into escapism anywhere else in your life, whether it's doom scrolling TV, etc., or just generally sleepwalking through your life because you don't know how to direct or channel the same obsession that you can only channel in video games. And you don't understand how to live life conscientiously. Now, we're going to sit down, you and I, and we're going to have a one-on-one conversation in which I help you map out your dream life beyond gaming and create a crystal clear, actionable plan to make it a reality. Not only that, on top of it, I'm going to guide you and hold you accountable to making progress on that plan daily. So, moreover, I'm going to give you all my frameworks on building emotional mastery and stress resilience so that you can conquer anything and everything that life throws your way and gracefully handle the inevitable highs and lows of life without self-sabotaging, without having to dive back into video games or anything else, or hit pause on the game of your life just because the circumstances are more stressful and more tenuous than anything that you ever experienced. Instead, I'm going to show you how to grow through those times of adversity, how to embrace them as the things that are molding your real life character into the most badass, unstoppable version of yourself, right? This is where we treat you like a video game character, and we gradually inch you closer and closer towards becoming the most maxed out, pimped out, epic geared version of yourself. I'll show you exactly how to identify the things that you love about video games that keep you coming back to them so that we can engineer them and integrate them into your real life. And this way, you never need to get them only through video games again and can instead get them in a constructive way that doesn't come at the expense of your real life. Well, I'll help you create a compelling real-life mission that fires you up and gets you jumping out of bed in the morning, excited to dive back into video games the same way you feel about gaming. You know that feeling when you're really into a game and you go to sleep thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it, you dream about it. I would dream about hitting my World of Warcraft rotation when I was in the thick of it. That's what we're recreating for you with your real life and with your real life mission. I'm also going to show you how to cultivate loving obsession with your life where you don't even feel the need to game at all. It's not even an appealing option in your mind anymore, right? Unlike the traditional way of going about this, where it's always like looming over you, it's like a boogeyman under the bed that you have to run away from for the rest of your life. You'll get to a point where it just naturally disgusts you or just uninterests you, right? You don't have to fight against anything. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to resist any temptations in the first place because you just look at it and you're like, what's the point? And that's probably something that you've never felt before or don't even think is possible right now, but it is. So instead of having to suppress gaming or treat it like a boogeyman for the rest of your life, you won't even feel the need to game at all. I will help you identify and obliterate the hidden suppressed emotions and limiting beliefs and identity level bottlenecks that hold you back in real life so that you can become your most confident, capable, unstoppable self. And I'll show you exactly how to optimize your health, your fitness, and your energy levels in real life, with or without a gym membership, with or without supplements, or anything complicated, so that you're never held back in your real life by your drive, your energy, your hunger for life. Instead, you can unlock all that stuff at a level that you've never experienced it before, and it's just a matter of you asking yourself, what do I want to do? I'm going to freaking rip it, right? I'm going to full send it. Everything that you need to overcome video game addiction forever and live a meaningful, rewarding, progress-filled life is in this program. This is the full stack program for not only quitting video games or overcoming video game addiction, but becoming video game addicted to your real life and crushing it in every single aspect of real life, right? Not only will you have everything that you need, but you will also be surrounded by an encouraging community who wants you to win as much as you and I want you to win. You will also have me pushing you forward daily. You'll have weekly one-on-one and group coaching calls and 24/7 text access to me for any support. So what does it look like inside the program? You're going to have access to the main Character Men community where we are continually sharing best practices and what works not only for overcoming video game addiction, but for mastering the game of life across all aspects of it, right? So your health, your wealth, your relationships, mindset work, internal work, anything that you can think of is going in here if it means you playing the game of life more exceptionally, more effectively. And that's from now until forever, because you're gonna have access to all future training material, all content, all trainings, all workshops that I upload from now, into infinity until the end of my life is going in this community. You're gonna have access to it for a lifetime. You're gonna be able to, even beyond the 90 days of the program, ask questions in that community, interact with your peers. It's a real life guild where you can team up with people and play the game together. And so that community that you might be missing out on by undertaking this quest for yourself, we're already solving that. We're going to be working together, you and I, for a period of 12 weeks. And during that time, you'll have direct 24/7 access to me via text and through the community, plus the regular weekly group and one-on-one Zoom calls that are going to answer all of your questions as soon as you have them, whenever you have them. I was looking for my phone because I wanted to show you, you're going to have direct 24/7 access to me on my personal phone number all the time. So the goal here is to completely break your video game addiction and get you to the best place that you've ever been in your real life in under 12 weeks. If you do the work, you will see the results. So if this excites you, if you're interested, you're ready to hop in, DM me the word win and let's get you started. Let's fucking go. I'll see you soon. Peace.